All right, Celtics Nation, strap in because there's a lot to unpack as Boston gets ready for Game 2 against the New York Knicks. And this time, the stakes are even higher. After a heartbreaking loss in overtime, one that ended with a 108-105 scoreboard, the green and white faithful are desperate for a bounce back. But beyond the scoreboard, all eyes are now turning toward the health updates coming from inside the locker room. And yes, the name at the center of it all is Kristaps Porzingis, the Latvian big man, known for his unique skill set and ability to stretch the floor, had to leave Game 1 early due to illness, and honestly, his short appearance already hinted that something wasn't right. He spent only 14 minutes on the floor, looked completely off rhythm, failed to make a single field goal in 4 attempts, and walked off with just 4 rebounds. It was a shadow of the Porzingis fans had gotten used to seeing in big games. The energy wasn't there, the timing was off, and the Celtics missed his presence dearly as the game dragged into overtime without one of its key contributors. Now, ahead of Game 2, there's a bit of cautious optimism circulating in Boston. The team officially listed Porzingis as probable to play, which in NBA language often means the player is trending towards suiting up, barring any setbacks. And while nothing is guaranteed, that small change in status is already enough to spark hope. Because when Porzingis is at full strength, he's not just a 7'3" shooter, he's a mismatch nightmare. He's a guy who can punish switches, hit tough mid-range shots over defenders, and most importantly, give the Celtics a totally different offensive dimension. When you remove him from the floor, the spacing collapses and the ball movement can start to stall, especially against a defensive-minded team like the Knicks. But not all news was positive. Sam Hauser, a vital contributor off the bench and one of Boston's most reliable perimeter shooters, has been labeled as doubtful for Game 2 due to a sprained right ankle. And that's no small blow. Hauser brings more than just shooting. He's developed into a solid defender and brings energy that fuels the second unit. If he's unable to go, the ripple effect will be real. It means more pressure on the starters to shoulder the scoring load and more minutes for players who may not have been in the rotation spotlight this deep into the postseason. Back to Porzingis, his season has been a bit of a roller coaster. Injuries and illness have kept him in and out of the rotation, and Celtics fans have grown familiar with the day-to-day tags next to his name. What makes this situation even more concerning is the lingering nature of his current health issue. According to Boston head coach Joe Mazzulla, this isn't a completely new illness. In fact, it might be related to the same condition that sidelined Porzingis for 11 games earlier in the regular season. That stretch back in February left a big hole in Boston's rotation, and since then, the big man has been managing symptoms and pushing through when he could. Mazzulla recently shared some insight, saying that Porzingis has been doing everything in his power to stay on the court, fighting through discomfort, following treatment plans, and doing his best to contribute. But he admitted that Game 1 was simply too much. The head coach noted that although Porzingis had been giving it his all, the illness clearly caught up with him and left him unable to compete at the level Boston needed. His body wasn't cooperating, and the coaching staff ultimately had to make the call to sit him down. That's a tough reality when the playoffs are in full swing. The Celtics can't afford to have their front court weakened, not when they're trying to slow down Julius Randle and a Knicks team that's physical, scrappy, and relentless on the boards. Porzingis, when healthy, is one of the few players who can match that physicality while also stretching the defense out to the three-point line. His presence doesn't just help Boston score, it makes the entire offensive machine run smoother. Without him, the Celtics lost one of their primary options to attack mismatches and keep the floor balanced. For now, the entire fan base will be holding its breath and watching for updates as tip-off for Game 2 approaches. There's a cautious sense of hope that Porzingis will suit up and look more like the player we've seen dominate at times this season. But hope alone won't be enough. If he plays, he'll need to bring the energy, the precision, and the confidence that makes him such a vital part of this Celtics core. Because let's be honest, Boston can't afford to go down 0-2 in this series, not with the depth and grit that the Knicks bring night in and night out. And as for Hauser, even if he doesn't make it back in time, his absence opens up opportunities for other role players to step up. Maybe someone unexpected catches fire. Maybe a bench guy hits a few threes and swings the momentum. That's what playoff basketball is all about. adapting, surviving, and finding ways to win even when the cards aren't falling in your favor. What's clear is that Boston is at a critical juncture. Game 1 was a wake-up call. This team, built to contend, now needs every piece in place to get back on track. And that starts with health, hustle, and a little bit of luck. All eyes are on Porzingis. All eyes are on the Garden. Let's see how this chapter unfolds. If there's one thing the Celtics have proven time and time again, it's resilience. This is not a team that folds under pressure, and if anything, a close loss like Game 1 tends to fuel them even more. But the reality heading into Game 2 is that it's not just about heart. It's about execution, adjustment, and availability. Kristaps Porzingis being listed as probable is promising, yes, but fans know how quickly things can change in the hours leading up to tip-off. One small setback in warm-ups, one wrong step, and the plan can go out the window. That's the nature of playoff basketball. Unpredictable and unforgiving. The Celtics coaching staff is already preparing for multiple scenarios. If Porzingis plays, how many minutes can he realistically give? Can he defend the pick and roll effectively? Or will his conditioning be an issue after dealing with illness? Will his shooting touch be there after a game off the court? These are not minor questions. In the high-stakes environment of the playoffs, every possession matters. A couple of missed rotations, a few miscommunications, and suddenly momentum swings the other way. Boston knows that. They felt it in Game 1. And the Knicks? They'll be coming with even more intensity. Winning on the road in Boston was a statement, and now they'll want to build on that and try to take full control of the series. They played a physically demanding game, attacked the boards, and made the Celtics uncomfortable. If Porzingis doesn't look like himself in Game 2, expect New York to go right at him, force him to switch onto quicker guards, test his movement, make him work defensively, and drain his energy early. They're not going to show mercy, and they shouldn't. This is playoff basketball, and every team is looking for any edge it can find. That puts a ton of pressure on the rest of the Celtics rotation. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown will have to take command, not just as scorers, but as vocal leaders who keep everyone locked in. Derek White and Drew Holiday will be key in organizing the offense and setting the defensive tone early. Al Horford, the veteran presence, might need to log extended minutes again, especially if Porzingis is limited or needs to ease his way back into the game. Horford has always been a stabilizer, someone who doesn't chase the spotlight but consistently delivers the dirty work. And that dirty work is exactly what the Celtics will need. Boxing out, setting solid screens, communicating through switches, and making the extra pass. Then there's the bench. Without Sam Hauser, the second unit loses a serious floor spacer. His absence will force the Celtics to get creative. Do they give more run to Peyton Pritchard? Can Svi Mykhailiuk step in and provide some shooting relief? Or do they tighten the rotation completely and rely even more on their starters? That's the kind of gamble that could pay off or blow up. The coaching staff will have to feel the game, read the flow, sense when to make a substitution or when to ride the hot hand. And the players off the bench? They need to stay ready because any moment could be their chance to swing the game. There's also a psychological layer to this matchup now. Losing a Game 1 at home stings. It shakes confidence. It puts doubt in the air. But Boston has a core. That's been through the wars. They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals. They've made deep playoff runs. And they've faced adversity before. This is a moment that calls for poise. That loss cannot turn into panic. It has to turn into focus. Joe Mazzulla will be under the microscope too. Every adjustment he makes will be dissected. In Game 1, some questioned the rotations late in the fourth quarter. Others wondered if the offense became too stagnant down the stretch, relying too heavily on isolation plays instead of moving the ball. These are valid critiques, and the coaching staff has to show they can learn quickly. Playoff series are all about adaptation. Whoever adjusts faster usually wins. On the other side, Tom Thibodeau and the Knicks will try to replicate that formula: gritty defense, attacking mismatches, and controlling the pace. They'll likely try to wear Boston down with physical play, crash the offensive glass, and get second chance points. That's what worked in Game 1. Now it's on the Celtics to respond, not just with skill, but with toughness. And let's not forget the crowd. TD Garden is known for its intensity, but after a Game 1 loss, it'll be even louder. The fans will demand effort from the opening tip, and if the Celtics come out flat, they'll hear it. This isn't just a basketball game, it's a battle for momentum, identity, and respect. Boston needs to come out swinging, set the tone physically and emotionally, and remind everyone why they finished as one of the top seeds in the East. Porzingis doesn't need to drop 30 points to make a difference. Just being a presence inside, hitting a couple of early shots, and making smart defensive reads can uplift the whole squad. His return, even at 80%, can shift the Knicks' defensive strategy, opening up lanes for cutters, creating space for Tatum and Brown, and bringing back that inside-out rhythm the Celtics thrive on. As the team braces for Game 2, the margin for error is razor thin. Every pass matters, every box out matters, every rotation, every decision, every hustle play. They all matter. That's playoff intensity. And for the Celtics, that means no more waiting, no more warming up. This is the moment to flip the script. This is the game that could define the series. Whether it's with a fully healthy Porzingis or one that's still fighting through fatigue, the Celtics have no choice but to rise. They've been here before. They've had their backs against the wall. And when the Garden starts rocking, when that energy kicks in, Boston as a way of reminding everyone who they are. This isn't about stats or storylines anymore. It's about will. It's about heart. And as Game 2 tips off, all eyes will be on how this team responds, not just to the loss, not just to the injuries, but to the moment itself. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a stunning turn of events that sent shockwaves through the NBA and captivated fans across the United States, Kevin Durant has officially signed a 4-year contract with the Boston Celtics. The announcement, confirmed early this morning by team executives and Durant's management, marks one of the most surprising free agency moves in recent history. Known for his scoring prowess, versatility, and leadership, Durant's decision to join the Celtics signals a new era in Boston basketball and a major power shift in the Eastern Conference. Durant, a 14-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champion, and former league MVP, leaves behind a legacy at the Phoenix Suns, where he played the past season. Though his time there was brief, his presence significantly impacted the team's competitiveness. However, rumors of dissatisfaction with the team's trajectory and internal direction have been circulating for months, and now the speculation ends. With this blockbuster signing, the Celtics, already one of the most storied franchises in NBA history, are fresh off a deep playoff run and have one of the league's most promising young cores, led by Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Durant's arrival elevates the team to instant title contention, combining veteran experience with youthful talent. Fans in Boston are ecstatic, with many already flooding social media with excitement and anticipation for what's to come. Durant's move is not just a basketball decision, it's a statement. At 36, he's chasing another championship and believes Boston is the place to achieve it. The Celtics, under head coach Joe Mazzulla, now possess one of the most potent lineups in the NBA, and league analysts are already projecting them as early favorites for next year's title. While many across the country remain shocked by Durant's choice, especially given the fierce history between Boston and his previous teams, it's clear that the future of the NBA just got a lot more interesting. The countdown to the next season has officially begun, and all eyes will be on Boston. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.